All right, hello everybody. Chief Forecaster David Alford. It's been more than 2 weeks exactly since we've last done a live stream using our actual good branding and doing an actual stream instead of from a mobile device. Hopefully you've been doing pretty well. Of course, if you guys got questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that, feel free to comment down below in our chat. And start off things this evening. It's the second day of September, and we got Pac-Man joining us in the chat saying he's first. So yes, you are indeed, and of course Storm is second in chat. Let's see who gets third place. All right, so as we progress more into your forecast update this evening, we bring more things on the chat, and tonight's forecast is going to be a bit of a busy weather update tonight. So let's get right into things. So of course, you can never miss a storm with us as we provide the latest information and details you need to know. All right, so coming up tonight, we're going to be talking about what we're tracking. And it's going to be the thing right after this graphic here. We got your full forecasts coming up as well. When can we see some fall conditions in Central Texas and the national forecast across the United States? So today for the airports, this is our all-new MAC. And today in Austin, we made up to 98 degrees at the airport today with a low of 69. Averages is 95 and a low of 73. So warmer than average for the high temperature wise with a high 98 to 95. Below average in temperatures, typically at 73. We were at 69. Camp Mabry was a little bit warmer in the morning temperature, but we stayed a degree shy of 98 instead of 97 from airports to Mabry this afternoon. Records 107 back in 2000, and record lows is back in 1915 at 58 degrees, which is absolutely wild. All right, radar across our area. It's quiet. It's dry. It's going to stay like that. Planning your evening, 92 at 7 p.m. Partly cloudy skies, 89 by 8, 84 by 10, and eventually falling to lower 80s by 12 a.m. And what we're tracking, dry, warmer weather by the midweek here. Hot conditions expected by the late week. And guess what? We're tracking some weakened storm chances coming back into our area. So coming up in just about 60 seconds, we're going to talk more about forecasts and more in-depth look at our rain chances this weekend. Also, a look at your dew point trackers, your forecast for today, or excuse me, for tonight and tomorrow, your coffee forecast, and we'll also take a look at the tropics. So get more of this updates in just 60 seconds from right now.
From a summer of devastating floods that tested our strengths, to a new season of crisp mornings and Friday night lights here in the ATX, Storm has been there, tracking every drop, every storm, every moment that matters. And now, as fall settles in, we're here to keep you safe, informed, and connected. Storm, Weather Network, never miss a storm.
And welcome back over to the Storm TV Network channel. I'm Chief Forecaster David Alford. Happy Tuesday. For some of us, or most of us, we went back to work or school today. Today I had a work day, so that means I stayed home while teachers went to school today. So I had a nice day staying at home. But 3 days of school this week, and it's the weekend, and expect a 5-day week. All right, weather-wise, radar right now, it's dry across our area. It's going to stay like that. And zooming it into our neck of the woods here in central Texas, you can see it's still the same picture, nothing. as we zoom it in. All right, so future track. This is tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mostly clear conditions, condition-wise, across our area. But we'll look at this in the hill country. We can wake up to the mid to upper 60s tomorrow morning. But even if you think that's very nice, wait till tomorrow morning's temperatures. I'll show you that in just a second. But mid to upper 60s tomorrow morning across the hill country, middle 70s across the I-35 corridor, and then low to mid 70s towards the coastal plains. By the afternoon tomorrow, mid to upper 90s from the I-35 corridor points east, but out towards the west, mainly in the lower 90s for highs from. I'm going 92 for Burnett, 92 Fredericksburg, and 94 potentially out there towards Kerrville. So some warmer temperatures tomorrow out there, but again, the warmer temperatures will contain itself for areas from Bexar County to Caldwell County, the Gonzales County points south will be areas where the temperatures will be the most warm. And then by tomorrow morning for Thursday morning, we're going to be in the middle 60s. Some of us potentially in the lower 60s. Wouldn't surprise me. But Fredericksburg, so far this summer, we've been in the upper 50s back in July. But we are going to stay in the low 60s. But some people, I'm going to be honest, on Thursday morning, if we can cool temperatures off very quickly enough on Wednesday evening and Wednesday nights, I think there's a possibility some of us might be at the threshold of being right at 60 degrees. We will see. But most of us will be 3 degrees away from 60 degrees or 5 or over 10 degrees higher than that. So 67 LaGrange and then 71 San Antonio sometime on Thursday morning. All right, precipitation chances next 40 hours. It's nothing. It's just going to be bone dry, no rain, no nothing for us. Just going to be the moral of the story. But the dew points tomorrow are going to be right at 60 on the dot for Austin. So it's going to put us right at the sticky level to almost the comfortable level. So we're kind of in between levels there for our dew points tomorrow in Austin. But take a look at our dew point tracker by 7 o'clock Wednesday. Upper 60s to start off the day tomorrow. However, out in the hill country, things are feeling rather nice, kind of just right in the comfortable category to sticky category at the time being, but things get even more better, I should say, by the evening. Look at this, mid to upper 50s dew point wise. It's going to put us in the comfortable category. You even see, comfortable categories where we'll be at for most of us. It's going to be very, very nice to see that across sections of our viewing area. So very, very nice. So tonight in Austin, a low of 74, mostly clear conditions. Winds northeast at 5 miles per hour. Sunrise tomorrow at 7:09. Tomorrow afternoon, partly sunny, a high of 97. We're going to have some gusty winds out there, kind of north-northwest at 5 miles per hour. So not that gusty. Your iced coffee forecast is going to go to a large category tomorrow. I have an arrow down here. I should have moved it up here, but there's an arrow that says tomorrow is going to be a day where you need some coffee. Make that a large because it's going to be a toasty one, 97. But the morning time when you get your coffee to either take the kids to school or you go to work or anything like that, temperature should be in the mid 70s, but on your way back, that's where we'll be in the upper 90s. So I should have flip-flopped the iced coffee forecast, then your tomorrow forecast. But hey, still, tomorrow, going to want a large cup of coffee as you get your day going tomorrow. And speaking of your tomorrow, getting your day tomorrow, hourly planner, waking up to the mid to upper 70s by 9 a.m., potentially lower 70s at 9 a.m. for the Western Hill Country. Upper 90s by lunchtime, mid 90s though, from 3 to 6 p.m., and rain chances are at a 0% chance in our area. As we take a look at your 5-day high temperature trend, we're going 97 Wednesday ahead of the next upcoming system. We're going to have surplusing heating that will occur in our area, so it will spike temperatures up to the lower triple digits, possibly for areas in our viewing area. Then upper 90s Friday and mid to low 90s eventually by the later parts of the upcoming weekend. Rain chances are despite 0%, 10% Saturday, and maybe even rain chances increasing back up to a 20% Sunday. Why is that going to happen? I will show you in just a second. Talking tropics now, we got a 70% chance in the next 7 days of something developing off the coast of Africa. This will eventually come into the Atlantic here, and that's why the National Hurricane Center is highlighting this area. They're saying, hey, a potential new name storm may develop out here in the Atlantic. We'll definitely need to keep eyes on this closely. So this is the Atlantic. Let's shift gears out towards the Pacific now. We're tracking this area right here. It's a tropical storm right now, Tropical Storm Lorena. It's going to actually make a right turn and impact California Bay and eventually come towards Mexico. And the latest model suggestions are saying that this can make a direct hit towards areas in Mexico and going right into the Lone Star State. So I'm not saying a tropical storm or depression is coming to the Lone Star State. what I'm saying is tropical moisture will be coming our direction, as well as the storm chances. So a potential cold front may happen as well. So it's kind of just going to be interesting how this exactly works. But rain chances, however, on our weekend and next week are going to be higher for sure. So as we take a look at that 7-day forecast, 97 Wednesday, 101 Thursday, Friday at double nines with still no rain chances. Longhorns UT game, it's going to be a home game this Saturday with temperatures in the mid 90s. When kickoff occurs around 11 o'clock in the morning at DKR Stadium, it should be in the mid to upper it should be in the 80s by the later parts of the morning. And I think we should be dry for most of the game on Saturday. We may bump up rain chances on Saturday to a 20%. Some models are saying storms may be more around in the afternoon on Saturday, but we'll keep eyes on that closely. Cold front pushes in. By Sunday, we're in the lower 90s. Some storm chances. Some of that tropical moisture will come our direction, and eventually mid-80s with storm chances Monday and Tuesday into our neck of the woods. And again, you can see rain chances start to spike back up as we enter a brand new work week. And by the upcoming week here, September 7th through the 11th, the Weather Prediction Center is in agreement with what we are seeing. They're saying that above normal precipitation will be anticipated for pretty much almost the entire viewing area. When you go from that light green to, it's going to be above average, but greater above average precipitation will happen in this darker shaded green color, but everybody across our area has that risk. How about temperatures? I showed you mid to upper 80s for highs next week. We're typically in the mid 90s this time of year. So we're going to be about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than average between September 7th and 11th across our neck of the woods. Very, very nice. All right, so coming up next, when can we see fall here in Central Texas? When do the leaves actually start to change? And where are some views and cool areas to look at in mid-October to see the leaves change color in Central Texas? That story and more coming up right after this quick 60-second break here on Storm.
From a summer of devastating floods that tested our strengths, to a new season of crisp mornings and Friday night lights here in the ATX, Storm has been there, tracking every drop, every storm, every moment that matters. And now, as fall settles in, we're here to keep you safe, informed, and connected. Storm, Weather Network, never miss a storm.
Chief Forecaster David Alford. We are back with your forecast. We kind of went through your forecast now, but now we're going to talk about the leaves and changing color here in just a second. Reading the live stream chat here, we got Cope joining us, and we got Weather Tracking Plus joining us. I'm slightly recovered. I'm just not thinking much about it anymore. Just trying to move forward, if that makes sense. But just trying to move forward and mostly recovered. So let's talk about the weather now. Let's talk about fall. Here's another fun part. Fall is a month of, or season, I should say, of just horrible allergies. And I'm getting a taste already of horrible allergies. When I went to Joplin this weekend, I went from mid 90-degree weather to low 70s. And the allergies are just different from south to north. And it just shot me. I'm like, whoa. And then I've just been very allergic all weekend long. And I'm slowly recovering. My ears are like stuffed up. I'm not that snotty anymore, thankfully. My throat was very dry, but I've been drinking some honey lemon water. It's warm, and I just got some of that, and it's been helping my throat. So I just want to point this out. If you guys have allergies or anything like that, and you have drainage or anything, drink honey lemon water. Warm it up in the microwave for like 1 minute. It's just amazing. I may have to do an allergy video or something saying, if you have allergies, here's what you need to do, and talk about when the worst allergies come. I think that should be a future video. We might have to do that. I don't know. Because it works for me, and some of y'all have asked me before, do you have any tips about allergies? You've mentioned allergies in your forecast before. Do you have anything? Maybe I'll do a video. We'll see. All right, so now let's talk about fall, where it's allergy season again. Spring and fall are the worst times for allergies across our area. In the summertime, it's usually too dry. It kills all the allergies. And then in winter, the allergies are mostly gone. All right, now let's talk about this. So leaves changing color. So this is kind of going in depth into the new season of fall. Of course, yesterday was meteorological fall. So people that are meteorologists, weather enthusiasts, and stuff like that, hey, yesterday was fall for us. But now as we take a look at in-depth information here, so days obviously are getting shorter now as we get more into the months of the end of the year. Temperatures also start to cool down. They're starting to do that. Typically, this will start around mid-October, though, when we'll start to notice the cooler temperatures. We actually are seeing early season cold fronts coming our direction. Typically, we don't see cold fronts in September. We do see them in the middle to end of September, but not this early. And they mostly are more common in the middle of October, like I have right here. That's when things typically start to get going with cooling down temperatures and multiple fronts. However, the colors of green will begin to break down. Leaf colors will change from green to red, orange, and yellow. So you go from green to red, orange, and yellow, and bright colors will occur by mid-November. And you can actually see this picture right here. It shows you yellow, orange, and very isolated areas of green. And that's what downtown Austin could look like by the water here in just a couple of weeks or so from now. All right, some of the trees that will change color. What exactly these trees that can change color will be the bald cypress. That'll be the cedar elm. And by the way, this elm kills me all the time. It's going to be the crabapple myrtle. Pecan trees also change color. Thank you. Texas ash also changes color. The 25-foot dogwoods, cottonwood, which is mostly yellow, by the way, and then sweet gums. And sweet gums can actually be very in different colors between red, orange, and even purple. The purple is really nice to see. But again, these are some of the trees that can change color when it comes to when fall comes right around our corner, which is going to be doing so here very, very soon. So what exactly could find the colors? Wow, that does not make sense. Where exactly could you find these colors at? You can find them in the Monat Bonnell in Austin, but you can get a better visual or more widespread area of these beautiful leaves changing color in our local hill country area, and in Lost Maples State Park in the Vanderpool area, and then of course the Garner State Park, Concan. That's where y'all can see a better visual of the leaves changing color. Again, we should not have any leaves changing color until October. Middle of October is when we should start to see leaves change color. And we'll leave it off with that. All right. So now let's talk about some national weather. So this evening, we got a level 1 risk, a marginal risk of severe weather towards the Twin Cities, Sioux Falls, as well as Minneapolis. Okay. And a level 1 risk of severe weather this evening. No tornadoes are anticipated. I don't believe that. There's also a hail and wind threat for this area tonight. So, of course, we'll keep eyes on this closely. We'll give you a live radar picture of across the United States here in just a moment. As we take a look at our evening shots as we take a look at tomorrow's shot here. Tomorrow, you can see that there's a level 2 risk of severe weather. I was actually just in Joplin just a few days ago, and there's a marginal risk of severe weather. Of course, severe weather has to happen after I leave, but Kansas City, all the way towards Wichita, as well as Topeka and Emporia, in Clinton are on the bullseye of this risk of seeing some strong storms, maybe even severe. Main risk being an isolated tornado threat, large hail, and damaging winds are the main components with this. Also, we've seen so much rain over the summer. As we get more into this month of September, we haven't seen much rain, but we have seen quite a bit of rain just a few days ago. We're going to expect at least another 1 to 4 inches of rain possible in kind of this green and yellow shaded color, where we do have this severe weather threat in our neck of the woods. And as we go and take a look at Thursday's outlook, going out towards the East Coast now, you see a level 1 risk of severe weather has been issued for portions of Pennsylvania states, also in Virginia. My brain's buffering there. Virginia, West Virginia, as well as North Carolina and areas back out towards Tennessee. That's another area we'll have to watch the rest for some strong to severe weather here throughout the next couple of days. All right, coming up next, we're going to take a radar tour across the United States. We'll start off in Austin to show you that there's nothing happening here, obviously, and then we'll zoom it out and give you a broad picture view with what's happening right now across the woods. I'm Chief Forecaster David Alford. We'll be back in about 1 minute. Hey, welcome back over to the Storm TV Network channel, guys. Chief Forecaster David Alford. We're going to go ahead and talk about some national weather here. So we're going to jump over to our radar and just a radar touring across the lower 48. And then we will do a full rerun of your graphics locally here in the Austin, San Antonio area. So get ready for that here in just a moment. So as we take a look at the big picture across the state or across the United States, you see that there is multiple areas of activity this evening. Well, this is our state. There's pretty much nothing right now. We're tracking a strong storm out there right now in Louisiana, just to the west of Jackson. As we're tracking a strong storm advisory for Monterey, Louisiana, under risk for some 30-mile-per-hour wind speeds, some hail up to pea or penny size. So just a very low wind, strong storm, but the storm is probably producing tons of lightning and thunder. So, of course, stay inside, stay indoors as we have a strong storm that's underway right now. Let's go over towards South Dakota and the Twin Cities area. This is where we have a level 1 risk of severe weather this evening, tracking 2 severe warnings right now. One just west of Pipestone and one south of Wagoneer right now. So we're watching these 2 cells and storms very closely. Both of these weather alerts are for quarters hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, where we do have this marginal risk of severe weather. No severe watch in effect for this area. And off towards the west coast this evening, some storms out there towards Arizona and areas towards California. There's even a flood watch to mention for areas like Red Bluff, Yuba City, and Reno, Nevada this evening, with a risk of multiple inches of rain possible as the slow-moving bands of precip will be moving and slowly pushing away. And then a strong storm alert to the northwest of Los Angeles. And that's about it with what we're tracking right now. Let's go all the way towards the East Coast this evening. And you can see across the East Coast, pretty quiet for right now. from Florida back up towards Maine here in the United States. So that's your forecast coming up at 7:31 Central. Your forecast. We'll do a rerun of the Austin area right after this quick break on Storm.
From a summer of devastating floods that tested our strengths, to a new season of crisp mornings and Friday night lights here in the ATX, Storm has been there, tracking every drop, every storm, every moment that matters. And now, as fall settles in, we're here to keep you safe, informed, and connected. Storm, Weather Network, never miss a storm.
Back over to Storm HQ. I'm Chief Forecaster David Alford. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully your guys' day has gone pretty well. And let's get right into the forecast. Before we do so, you're watching Storm. Never miss a storm with us. Next couple of days, we got you covered with what the sky is going to look like. And also for this upcoming weekend, as there's a Longhorns game on Saturday. All right, so coming up tonight, here's a rerun with what's going on. We're tracking with things this evening in your almanac. We'll show you that in just a second. Your full forecast coming up in just a little bit. Also, when can we see fall in Central Texas? When does that typically occur? And then a national forecast with radar coming towards the end of this broadcast here at 7:30. All right, today at the airport at Austin, we made it up to 98 this afternoon after a morning temperature at 69. Our averages is 73, so we were just 4 degrees below that today from it being below. So we were below average this morning, but temperatures this afternoon were above average. Camp Mabry, temperatures were above average, and the highs and the low was just 1 degree below average. And if we go back to 2000, we made it up to 107. So, hey, at least we were not at 107 today. And then look at that 58 back in 1915. Which was very nice. All right, radar, last 30 minutes across our area. There's nothing. It's quiet across Central Texas, and it's quiet across the rest of our state. You're eating this evening, or you're planning your evening this evening. We got 92 right now at 7. We got 89, mostly clear skies at 8 p.m. We should do some live shots earlier. There were some cumulus clouds still holding on, so we are going to hold on the risk for some cloud cover mixtured in with the sky till about 10 p.m. for some of us. I think the greater cumulus cloud coverage will be mainly towards San Antonio after 8 to 9 p.m., but everyone else should be cloud-free around 8 p.m., and eventually clear skies everywhere with low 80s by 12 a.m. So what's coming up, what we're tracking, we got dry, warmer weather by the midweek here, so starting tomorrow. Hot conditions are expected later this weekend, so hey, it's warmer this week by this midweek, but can it get hotter? It will. I'll show you. And we're tracking some weekend storm chances ahead. So coming up here in just a moment here, we're going to break down your forecast after this quick little break on the Storm TV Network channel. We are not going to be back in 60 seconds. It's like a quick minute and 30-second video. I made a video, so you guys are going to see this update. And we got C-Gray in the chat saying 6 tons. So very, very nice. All right, we're going to be right back, guys. Here's a new little segment called Touching Grass. It's right after today's trends. You're watching Storm HQ. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. It's Chief Forecaster David Alford with Storm. Here's a look at some of today's holidays. Today is Bison Tail Yell Day. It's also Calendar Adjustment Day. It's also International Day of Vietnam. It's National Blueberry Popsicle Day. Never had that before. National Live Fearless Day. I like that. Pierce Your Ear Days. Me personally, I'm never piercing my ears, so that's today's holiday there. Telephone Tuesday. It's VJ Day. It's World Coconut Day, and those are today's holidays, which is not a lot, but there are some today. All right, so let's go ahead and touch some grass outside. We haven't touched grass in a while, haven't we? Let's go outside now and do so. So when we do these forecast updates, we're probably going to have a new segment called Touching Grass, because literally the entire time we're either just sitting on our chairs, just watching the screen, radar, and graphics, or we're not outside. And I have not been outside at all today, I don't think. And it's, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I think we need a new segment while we're live saying Touching the Grass. So as of recording this, obviously we're not live, but as of recording this at 4 p.m., it is kind of toasty. Not too bad, but it's a little toasty outside. And look, watch me touch grass. All right, touching grass. The grass feels nice, actually, but that's what things are out here. All right, back to the weather right now. We got some of these clouds out in the distance. We got a cumulus cloud as well in the distance right now. No storms are expected to develop today. We should just have these nice pop-up cumulus clouds and stay dry for the rest of this afternoon and going into tonight. So if you're celebrating Pecan Day as a national holiday for today, the pecanness this afternoon looks relatively nice this evening. But if you have any outdoor plans this evening on this Tuesday, just a little bit toasty, but probably when we live stream, temperatures will be about 5 degrees cooler. We're like in the mid to upper 90s right now. Eventually going to be into the upper 80s later when we are live. So anyways, again, the moral of the story is some cumulus clouds, beautiful sunset this evening, and that is about it. So that's our new little segment of Touching Grass with your national holiday forecast here on Storm. Hey, how did y'all like that new segment, Touching Grass? I loved it. It was nice being outside. It's 4 in the afternoon, peak heating, and I was sweating. Hey, it's nice outside, though. I'm kidding. It's only in the 90s still right now compared to 4 p.m. It's only 7:30, and it's still in the 90s. So, hey, it's about the same temperature when I record the video at 4 p.m. All right, radar right now, it's nothing. It's quiet across the area. Here's a live shot in Austin, Texas, downtown towards the skyline. Look at that beautiful shot. Beautiful sky conditions out there. The sun is setting. The sun sets roughly around 7:55-ish, which we'll show you on our tonight forecast. But the sky's getting already becoming galaxy looking, very nice looking. This thing, and of course, a nice shot of the water, and everything is still green outside, so it's still summertime here in Central Texas, and temperatures responded today being just like summertime weather. Radar last 30 minutes across the area, more zoomed in look. There's nothing. It's still pretty quiet right now. All right, temperatures tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. This is nice, but just wait till tomorrow morning. I'm just gonna leave you guys with a cliffhanger right there, but I'll get to it in just a second. We'll catch up to that cliffhanger here in a moment. All right, mostly clear conditions tonight, but if you're in the I-35 corridor across the Austin or San Antonio metros, mid-70s tonight. But if you're east of I-35, lower 70s. But if you're out in the hill country, Fredericksburg, Kerrville, and Mason, we're talking mid to upper 60s to start off the day tomorrow. That's going to feel nice, crisp, and clear. Oh, I love that. Can't wait for that, right? And then by the afternoon on your Wednesday, by 7 p.m., if you have any activities or plans, relatively in the upper 90s. If you're out in the hill country by 7 p.m., in the lower 90s, and maybe even some of us in the upper 80s potentially. By Thursday morning, 7 a.m., so we catch back up to our cliffhanger now. You can see the temperatures will be actually more in the mid to low 60s across the area. Some of us might actually be right at the threshold of being at exactly 60 degrees on the dot. But if we can cool things off quickly enough on Wednesday, some of us, I think there could be one station, maybe Mason, Kerr, or Gillespie counties. It may say 59 degrees. I have that hope. I think there might be that one station that may read 59. We will see. Maybe around Fredericksburg, maybe even near Burnett. We will see. Fingers crossed. I think one of us could probably get 59 degrees Thursday morning. We'll see. Look at this. Austin, upper 60s. Wow. And then LaGrange, also upper 60s, maybe mid to upper 60s area wide. But if you go further south, obviously the further south you go, the warmer it is. Lower 70s for San Antonio by Thursday morning. All right, rain chances next 40 hours. There's nothing to worry about. We're dry. As we take a look at your dew point tracker tomorrow, we're right at 60 tomorrow for Austin. So we're going to be right at the comfortable to sticky level tomorrow. So, hey, it's just going to be kind of right in the middle of things tomorrow. So if you have any outdoor plans, yeah, it's not going to feel best to start off the day tomorrow. Speaking of starting the day off tomorrow, look at this. Upper 60s, the dew points. Lower 70s in Burt potentially. Same thing in LaGrange. However, further west you go, we're talking the lower 60s. So we're going to be right into that sticky category. And then as we get to the afternoon and evening hours, we're actually going to be in the comfortable level. So tomorrow is going to be kind of a comfortable to a dry heat tomorrow afternoon. So it shouldn't be super humid tomorrow. We're talking dew points relatively in the mid to upper 50s and low to mid 60s area wide across south central Texas. So things are going to feel a lot more nicer slightly for tomorrow. And then you know how it goes. It's Texas. We go back to the very humid category and tropical air mass back into our area back on Thursday. All right, tonight's forecast, 74, mostly clear. Sunrise tomorrow at 7:09, winds northeast at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow's forecast in Austin, 97, partly sunny. Tomorrow's sunset at 7:54 with a north-northwest wind at 5 miles per hour. Hey, if you want to get some coffee tomorrow, things are looking great. I recommend y'all getting a large-sized cup of coffee tomorrow. If you get coffee tomorrow morning, we're talking mid-70s when you wake up tomorrow morning. But if you're out in the hill country, mid to upper 60s to get coffee tomorrow. But I've heard this. Mojo's Coffee that's nearby, they released their fall drinks. Hocus Pocus is back. All the other nice drinks are also back. Starbucks has got their new pumpkin spice latte or something like that came out recently. Y'all get that. Tomorrow's a good day to get that to start off the day tomorrow. So again, recommend going off with a large size tomorrow. By the afternoon tomorrow, as mentioned, we're going to be in the upper 90s. So your hourly planner tomorrow, mid to upper 80s by noon for lunchtime. And then by the mid to late afternoon, we're going to be to the mid 90s. And then by 9 p.m., we're eventually in the mid 80s. So what about them temperatures next 5 days? 97 Wednesday, as mentioned, up to 101 on Thursday, double nines Friday, then mid 90s Saturday, back down to the lower 90s on Sunday, as some tropical moisture will be coming into our forecast, as well as a cold front. So rain chances the next couple of days is a goose egg Wednesday through Friday. Then by Saturday, it's a 10% chance, and then rain chances start to spike up Sunday. But that's not all. Kind of leaving all as a cliffhanger. 20% for now, but you're going to see some higher totals and numbers coming up here in just a moment. All right, let's talk tropics. So as of right now, the National Hurricane Center is monitoring something off the coast of Africa, so west of Africa, into that far eastern Atlantic, right in this corridor here. They're giving us a 70% chance in the next 7 days we get something depression-wise, a low pressure to form, or even a storm to get going, a tropical storm potentially. So right corridors where we'll need to watch this. A lot of discussion, a lot of people have questions of where will this go? Will it come towards the United States? Will it come towards Bermuda? Will it impact the islands? Will it fizzle out? There's a lot of questions. But if it does come towards the United States, there's 2 cold fronts that I'm aware of that will happen from now and then when this will make an impact potentially towards our direction in the United States. We'll see. But again, later parts of the week here, into next week, or excuse me, sometime next week, I'm pretty sure is when this will get closer to United States, but sometime this week, we should get a named storm, or it will be this weekend. We will see. All right, back out towards the Pacific now. We're tracking this area closely. Tropical storm Lorena right now causing some impacts out towards the west of Mexico, but hey, Mexico not out of the woods. It's going to make a right hard turn towards the California Bay, and eventually will come right into Mexico. And this tropical moisture will actually come into Texas, and just coming right in time for a cold front that will come our direction. One, cooler temperatures. Two, more widespread, greater storm chances into our viewing area, which we'll take a more deep dive look at from the Climate Prediction Center coming up here in just a second. So back to your forecast, 97 for your Wednesday tomorrow, 101 Thursday, double nines on Friday with 0% precip chances as of right now, 10% Saturday for the Longhorns game at DKR Stadium, a home game, kickoff at 11, temperature should be in the 80s and kind of humid, but hey, no rain as of right now for kickoff for the UT game. But by the end of the game, around third to fourth quarter, that's where I believe the risk for some pop-up storms will start to happen on Saturday. So we'll see how that goes. But Saturday, relatively, is not a washout. But Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so when rain chances start to creep back up, become more widespread, and we'll tell you, and we'll probably refine the percentages of rain chances here next couple days. But this cold front's going to do a big drop of temperatures into our area next couple of days, starting next week. All right, precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center from September 7th to the 11th. They're saying that the entire area will see above normal precipitation in our area. But if you're curious about temperatures, we got a cold front, then number two, tropical moisture. We're going to be below average in temperatures from Austin, Cameron, Burning Points northwest. So all the hill country and portions of the I-35 corridor could see 5-degree below average temperatures. And typically in the month of September, we're in the 90s. I have highs right now in the mid to upper 80s next week. So we're going to be at the low end, slightly below average temperature category for portions of next week and later this weekend. All right, so coming up next, when can we see a taste of fall? When do the leaves change exactly? And allergies. Also, we'll talk about your national forecast with radar. Everything and more coming up right after this quick break. You're watching Storm HQ on this Tuesday evening.
From a summer of devastating floods that tested our strengths, to a new season of crisp mornings and Friday night lights here in the ATX, Storm has been there, tracking every drop, every storm, every moment that matters. And now, as fall settles in, we're here to keep you safe, informed, and connected. Storm, Weather Network, never miss a storm.
Record. Hello, everybody. I'm Chief Forecaster David Alford. Welcome back over to the Storm Weather Channel. You're watching Storm HQ, and we're going to go ahead and talk about when do the leaves start changing color in Central Texas. And of course, during the months of fall and the new season that occurs, allergies become a big problem. So the last couple of days, I've been dealing with some severe allergies as the weather's starting to change between seasons, and when hot and cold air collide and cold fronts and everything and wind and just a whole mess. So it's one thing I recommend is drinking honey and lemon and water. Put those all together, put them in the microwave for about 1 minute. It's awesome. And my throat was very sore earlier, and I drank it before we got this little bit done. And hey, I'm fine now, so it's awesome. So definitely recommend to do that. And maybe in the future, I'll record a video talking about allergies more in depth, where's the worst allergies in the month of fall, and probably how they work and where you can find them at, and stuff to help you if you have bad allergies. So that's another time. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, that's something for the future. All right, so now let's talk about leaves changing color here in the season of fall as we are right around the corner. So the days obviously are getting more shorter, and they're going to continue to do so from now to the next day, to the next day, to the next day. It's just going to get shorter and shorter from now and further on. Temperatures will also start to cool down, so get ready for that. And then this will typically start around mid-October, and that's not for the temperatures. When things start to get going around mid-October, that's when the color of green begins to break down. The leaf colors will actually change to red, orange, and yellow. So this picture you see right here, it's orange, yellow, and red. And of course, the bright colors, when you can see the actual fall color, are in the middle of November. And typically, as mentioned, we don't start to see the leaves change color until middle of October. But there has been some studies and some signs that in early October, in the hill country, the leaves start to change color just a little bit sooner. We'll see if that's the case this year. But as of right now, on the September 2nd, no one in Central Texas is seeing a taste of fall yet. But temperatures last couple of weeks, or days I should say, have actually been fall-like. All right, so some of the trees that do change colors: bald cypress, cedar elm. Oh, cedar elm. Me and elm don't go well together, or cedar. Cypress, myrtle, as well as pecan trees. We got the Texas ash. We got the 25-foot dogwoods. Those are the trees that will start to change color. The cottonwood, that is mostly yellow. And in the sweet gum trees, those can actually be red, orange, and even purple. Purple is a really fascinating color to see from a tree. So, again, guys, that's what we're seeing with some trees that could change color over the next couple of months. So where can you find these trees at? And the taste and the sea of fall, you can see it typically in the Mounts Bullen in Austin. You can see it in our local area here in the Hill Country. You can also see it in the Lost Maples State Park, Vanderpool, and in the Gardner State Park in Colcan. So these are typical areas where you can see the leaves start to change color. And again, in the middle of October, that's when things start to become more fall-like here in South Central Texas. But temperatures from now, as of making this video, into further on, temperatures are only going to cooler, as we're coming to the end of 2025. So here we are with that. So that's what I got with your upcoming fall updates. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at your forecast across the national portions of the United States, which is severe weather threats tonight, tomorrow, and your Thursday, and your radar across the lower 48. We'll be right back. You're watching Storm HQ. Welcome back over to the Storm TV Network channel. I'm Chief Forecaster David Alford. You're watching Storm HQ. We got two people chatting right now. We got Mike and Kristen saying hello, hello, and hello, hello to y'all. Good evening. All right, talking about weather now. We got a severe weather risk as we go national. Severe weather threat tonight for the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and Sioux Falls, including this, as well as Brookson's, Huron, Watertown, St. Cloud, and as well as Morris, and a low end risk of severe weather this evening for the risk of hail and gusty winds. And as of right now, one active severe thunderstorm warning, and that one severe warning is in Minnesota, probably somewhere near Sioux Falls or east of Brookings. We'll take a look at radar here coming up in just a moment. So that's our severe weather risk for this evening. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our severe weather risk for tomorrow. And you can see with our severe weather risk for tomorrow, it's a level 2 threat for areas in Missouri, over here, and Kansas. I was actually dropping the other day, and they're in a level 1 risk of severe weather for tomorrow. As well as Springfield, Rolla, Columbia, Wichita is in a level 2 risk. Kansas City, Topeka, Emporia, Iola, and Clinton are under the gun for a risk of some severe weather for large hail, damaging winds, even a low and tornado risk. And also some very heavy rain could be possible as well. So we obviously cannot rule out the risk for some isolated flooding. So again, we'll continue to monitor that closely. As we take a look at your threat for severe weather on Thursday, you can see for areas towards Pennsylvania, Maryland, North Carolina, as well as West Virginia and Virginia, and back towards Tennessee and Kentucky, we have a level 1 risk of severe weather. Main concerns as of right now will be hail, wind, and a minor risk of flooding. So again, we'll watch this closely for our friends out towards the East Coast. All right, now let's talk national on the radar this evening, as we have about a minute and a half with you before we get off the air tonight. You can see across the western coast, you can see we got some storms out there right now, also as well as in New Mexico. A strong storm alerts out there right now in southern Oregon, a flood watch in effect right now in areas towards eastern California and far western Nevada, so watching that closely. For our friends over here, we do have that one severe thunderstorm warning just to the southwest of Tracy and northeast of Sioux Falls. A severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30 for 60-mile-per-hour winds and small embedded hailstones in this weather alert. So we're watching this closely for our friends over there. But of course, tons of lightning and thunder likely occurring with this complex of storms, so please stay inside. And of course, off towards the East Coast this evening from Florida back up towards Maine. For once, no precip is showing on the radar this evening. So that's what we got coast to coast with your forecast this evening, and that's what we got with your forecast here in the Austin, San Antonio area. We appreciate you watching, appreciate you tuning in. We hope you have a fabulous Tuesday night, and we'll see back with more updates of Storm HQ live tomorrow evening around 7 p.m. And we'll have Bryce do your forecast video tomorrow mid-afternoon, so stay tuned for that as well. But for me and everyone at Storm, have a good night. See you back here tomorrow on your hump day on Wednesday.